Call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Waha Rakakwadash. Shalom to my elder Sharayad. Shalom to all you hopefully elect elders of the Israelite nation out there who rule well. Also, namely, the hopefully elect elder apostles over at the Great Millstone Church. Peace and many blessings be to the hopeful elect men of the Israelite nation, those of you who are diligently bringing forth the true doctrine of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Also, namely, the brothers that I personally labor with. Peace and many blessings be as well to the rest of the 1/3. All you true believers out there of the Israelite nation, shalom to you all. We're going to start this lesson off here in the book of 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. It reads, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Off top, you're being told to be sober and to be vigilant. And these words are telling you to stay in a certain state of mind. You know, when you go into sober, it's going into, you being circumspect. You simply know what's going on around you, paying attention. Ultimately, your being and also what's going on around you, and it's for a purpose. You have to keep a watch. You have to keep your attention on the goal at hand is. And the goal at hand upon coming into this truth, all right, you forsaking the world you did all so for a reason. And the purpose is for you to be able to enter onto those chariots first and foremost and receive the kingdom of heaven. So to do so, you have to be in a correct state of mind. You have to stay, diligently in the course of this truth, thus obtaining the true doctrine of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai and walking accordingly, staying on that straight gate and not being persuaded in any other manner, because you have an adversary. As it goes on to explain here, you have an adversary being in opposition, one who is opposed to the way that you're going. All right, he's your enemy, and that enemy is the devil, one who works through the deception, who deceives. And we know the devil has a physical counterpart here on the earth, which is the so-called white man, but that doesn't stop, the actual spiritual, demon who is Satan from plaguing you in the mind and in other ways. And that's ultimately what we're going to be focused on in this lesson. But I'm going to continue the scripture here. It says, as a roaring lion, because that's how the devil is. A lion is a predator. It chases after prey. It's looking for a meal to eat. And it says, walketh about. And as we know, Satan is one to go to and fro throughout the earth. So he's all over the place, and he's seeking whom he may devour. He's looking for a meal. He's looking to eat. That's what Satan wants to do. And his favorite meal, if you will, is the true believers of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, those who have forsaken his world and the ways that he is trying to get you to go astray in. When we read verse 9, it says, whom resisted steadfast in the faith. That's who he's licking his lips for. That's what he wants to eat. He wants to devour those who are doing righteously in this world specifically, although he will feast on any and everybody. But namely, those of you who are on that straight gate, who has left that wide and broad way and have come into a path that is actually going to lead into life. And it says, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. So, beautiful point is coming from through a sit down, which ultimately inspired this lesson. A sit down we did last week, about a week ago, which is titled Satan, the Adversary, wants whoever he/they can get. The specific point that brought forth the thought to do this lesson is something my elder Sharayat, has been pointing out for a while. The fact how Satan gets down sometimes, which is him coming into your thoughts, him coming in your thoughts and speaking through things that he know you desire, things he know you like and want. And also the furtherance of speaking to you in your own voice. Those times you get off thoughts, it sounds like you, but it doesn't really portray who you truly are. That's oftentimes the devil trying to speak through you and trying to get you to go off in those ways. Remember, he's a deceiver. And he's a master of deception. So he will even deceive you in a way of your thoughts coming to you in your own voice and trying to persuade you to go off in that way. Again, that's what inspired this lesson. So I'm going to play a clip from that sit down and let the elder speak, in his own words, because it's a beautiful, it's a beautiful thought, and it's definitely good to be admonished on. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this really quick.
So Satan, he comes in a way to try to get you to do stupid stuff. He tries to play mind games. He tries to play on your pride too. He tries to plays on what he know about you. You know what I'm saying? That's what he tried to do. He probably tried to give you things you ain't even thought about. You know what I'm saying? Especially for us, like I say, more so things you ain't never considered. But especially us, because Yahushua, he know everything. But yeah, he gives you things you wouldn't consider. You know, and he tries to play your game as if, like, because really this Yahushua going through exactly how I pointed out through the spirit, a while ago. Satan gives you he gives you thoughts like they're your thoughts, and you will hear them, in your own voice. For instance, to prove that, I'm gonna read it again. It says, "And he said unto him, If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down." Yahweh, cast thyself down. It says, "For it is written." See that? So now it sounds like Yahushua thinking it. It come off as if Yahushua thinking this, because he's going to Yahushua's side. He try to, that's how Satan works. Okay, but go on and say, it says, "He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against the stone." So yeah, and then you go on and further. So he try to hit pride. He try to give you things you wouldn't consider. He try to make you see it and hear it in a way to where it sounds like you, to where you would, to where that's how he's trying to get you to consider it, to where it's in your considerations, but it's really not. It's him. You know what I'm saying? He wants your soul. He wants your lifestyle. He wants the way you doing things that may be right to stop. That's why the lesson is really what it is he want whoever he can get, man. This nigga is thirsty. The adversary is thirsty.
The furtherance of the point that the elder just spoke on is me running into this video here, which I got pulled up, and this is the thumbnail for it. And basically, it's exactly what the elder was explaining in that sit down. As you can see here, we have Jake. This Jake being Charles Barkley, an NBA player, which is, a puppet ultimately at this point being used to sell the world and ultimately, get more Israelites to go off. But he's selling something here, which is a product that is something that could be used to potentially lead you astray, from reality, from this truth.
Playoffs, anything can happen. 1 minute you're feeling great about a bet, then you hear that voice in your head.
Hey Chuck, let's get out while it's still good, man. You don't want to end up looking like a knucklehead. That'd be terrible.
Well, FanDuel, the ball's in your court. Hit cash out and tell that voice in your head. In the NBA playoffs, anything can happen. 1 minute you're feeling great about a bet, then you hear that voice in your head.
Hey Chuck, let's get out while it's still good, man. You don't want to end up looking like a knucklehead. That'd be terrible.
Well, FanDuel, the ball's in your court. Hit cash out and tell that voice in your head to be quiet.
Are you hungry? Hey Chuck. Are you getting hungry? I'm getting hungry. I think we're getting hungry. Well, I could do some cupcakes, some Jaffa.
Sign up now and get a wrist.
Yeah, so we're going to come to this next scripture and then we speak on it. So 2 Corinthians 2 and verse 11, it says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." So this commercial I first seen on my phone, which is literally called a device. And simply it's providing a dead-on example of what the elder was speaking about. You see, they present an NBA player who is Charles Barkley. He's a Jake, and he influences the world. Again, it's dead on. If you realize and notice, the dude was floating on his left hand side. Somewhat looks like him, but it came to him in his own thoughts. It came speaking things that he so-called desires or whatnot. But the point ultimately is proven simply through the commercial. And what's going on in this commercial is exactly what you may be dealing with at times. So you have to be able to differentiate between your own thoughts, and staying sober and vigilant is going to allow you to realize if these things are happening. Also, this commercial can serve as a means to get advantage of us, because the furtherance of it is, again, it's the same exact scenario that Elder spoke of. It's presenting a conscience to you. It's literally playing as that voice. It's presenting a Jake to you, which is Charles Barkley, someone you can relate to, someone who actually sounds like you. He's a so-called black man. He's an Israelite. Then he's promoting something, which is whatever it says, FanDuel, I believe. He's promoting something that could potentially lead you astray, again, off that straight path into the wide and broad way, which is leading to destruction. The furtherance of what even was being said is the fact that these devices are even playing a role on the way we are perceiving reality. Again, they're using that voice to persuade you into, doing something profane, doing something that's abominable, doing something that's of the world, to lure you back in. So you always have to be paying attention and not be ignorant of any of his devices, any ways that he come to you. Again, I thought this was very interesting. I think the commercial serves as a perfect example. If you go to the actual commercial, it's named Voice in Your Head. Let me just go back to it real quick. Actually go to it. FanDuel Sportbook NBA Playoffs. It's called Voice in Your Head. And it's exactly what we're talking about. You can just see, how he's looking at it. It looks like him. It sounds like his thoughts, but it's not him. And this is exactly how Satan gets down. So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, your opponent, your opposition, who is the devil, walketh about as like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. So don't get devoured. Lord willing, this is edifying. Shalom.